Chosen one, if you are hearing this right now, understand something very important before we go any further. This message was not meant to be public for long. It was not meant for the masses. It was not designed to entertain, impress, or even convince. It was released quietly, intentionally, because it was meant to reach one person at one exact moment. And if you are listening, that person is you. There is a reason you clicked when you could have scrolled. There is a reason your spirit leaned in when your mind didn't fully understand why. There is a reason this message feels heavier than usual, like it's pressing against something deep inside you. That's because it is touching what has been hidden, what has been delayed, what has been protected, and what has been waiting. You have felt different for a long time now. Not better than others, not superior, but separated. You've tried to explain it, but words never quite fit. You walk into rooms and feel like you don't fully belong, even among people who love you. You've laughed, smiled, worked, served, helped, and still carried an unshakable sense that your life was meant for more than routines and survival. And that feeling didn't come from ambition alone. It came from assignment. It came from calling. It came from a divine whisper placed inside you long before you understood language. You didn't choose to be different. You were marked. There were seasons when you wished you were normal, when you prayed to blend in, when you asked why your path fell heavier than others who seemed to move effortlessly. You watched people succeed faster, receive support sooner, gain recognition easier. Meanwhile, you were pushed into silence, isolation, misunderstanding, and delay. But what you didn't realize then is that obscurity was not punishment. It was preparation. Privacy was not rejection. It was protection. What is being built in you cannot be rushed, cannot be exposed prematurely, and cannot be handled by untrained hands. You have survived things that should have broken you, not because you were strong, but because you were preserved. There were moments you should not have made it out of, conversations that could, destroyed your future, decisions that could have ended your story permanently. Yet somehow, something always intervened. A delay, a redirection, a closed door that felt cruel at the time but saved you later. You called it luck. Others called it coincidence. But deep down, you knew it was something more. You were being watched. You were being guarded. You were being kept. There were nights you cried without sound. Mornings you woke up tired before the day even started. Seasons where prayer felt heavy and silence felt louder than any answer. You questioned yourself. You questioned your faith. You questioned whether you misunderstood your purpose entirely. And still something inside you refused to die. Even when you wanted to quit, you didn't fully quit. Even when you gave up, you never fully let go. That wasn't weakness, that was evidence. Evidence that what is tied to you is bigger than your emotions, bigger than your exhaustion, bigger than your fear. You were tested in private because your assignment is public. You were refined in silence because your voice carries weight. You were broken gently because your heart must remain soft in a world that will try to harden it. You were delayed because timing matters more than talent. And right now, you are standing at a threshold you can feel but not yet see clearly. Things are shifting beneath the surface. Conversations are being arranged, paths are aligning. Doors are preparing to open. Not because you forced them, but because the season has changed. This is why resistance increased before release. This is why confusion intensified before clarity. This is why attacks became more subtle, more personal, more strategic. When you are close to stepping into what you were always meant to be, opposition no longer looks obvious. It looks like distraction. It looks like fatigue. It looks like self-doubt. It looks like settling. It looks like accepting less than what you know deep down is meant for you. And that is why this message had to reach you now, before you made a permanent decision based on temporary exhaustion. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are right on schedule, even if the schedule doesn't make sense yet. What is being prepared for you requires maturity, discernment, and depth that only comes through endurance. You could not have stepped into this earlier without being crushed by it. You would have attracted attention you weren't ready to manage, responsibility you weren't prepared to carry, influence you didn't yet have the wisdom to steward. Delay saved you. There are people connected to your future who could not meet you in your past. If they had access to you earlier, they would have misused you, misunderstood you, or drained you. That's why relationships ended without closure. That's why some people walked away without explanation. That's why certain doors slammed shut, even when you were loyal, committed, and sincere. You thought you lost something, but what actually happened is that you were released from something that could not follow you into your next season. You were about to outgrow environments that once felt familiar, not because you became arrogant, but because your capacity expanded. You are beginning to see clearly what you once tolerated blindly. You are no longer impressed by noise. You crave truth, depth, alignment. Small talk drains you. Shallow connections frustrate you. You feel called to build, not just belong. To create, not just consume. To lead, not for recognition, but because your spirit cannot stay silent anymore. And here is what you must understand very carefully. The reason this message feels intense is because it is activating remembrance. You are remembering who you are. You are remembering what you agreed to before fear, before trauma, before disappointment tried to rewrite your identity. You are remembering that your life is not accidental, your pain was not wasted, and your survival was not random. Everything you endured sharpened something in you: compassion, discernment, authority, vision, depth. Soon you will notice people responding to you differently. Some will be drawn to you without knowing why. Others will feel uncomfortable around you without explanation. That is not your imagination. That is alignment and misalignment revealing itself. When you walk in truth, you don't have to announce it. It speaks. And not everyone can handle the sound of authenticity. Some will celebrate you. Some will compete with you. Some will misunderstand you. None of that is your responsibility to control. Your only responsibility is obedience to what you know is right. To stay grounded when momentum increases, to remain humble when validation arrives, to stay disciplined when freedom expands. What is coming will test your character more than your patience. It will test your ability. Thank you to stay connected to your source when distractions multiply. It will test whether you can carry influence without losing intimacy, whether you can grow publicly without shrinking privately. There will be moments ahead when you will feel tempted to explain yourself. Resist that urge. Not everyone deserves access to your story. Mystery is not deception. Silence is not weakness. You do not owe clarity to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Let your consistency speak. Let your results speak. Let time reveal what words never could. Those meant to understand you will. Those who are not will eventually move out of the way. What you are stepping into will not look like what you imagined years ago. It will be better, but different. Less dramatic, more impactful, less noisy, more stable, less rushed, more rooted. You once prayed for escape. Now you're being trusted with responsibility. You once asked for relief. Now you're being given influence. And influence requires restraint, wisdom, and timing. You are no longer being prepared to run away from your life, but to stand fully inside it. There's a quiet confidence rising in you, even if you don't fully recognize it yet. A knowing that doesn't need approval. A peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, a strength that doesn't announce itself. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. You are finally beginning to agree with what was always true about you, and agreement is powerful. When you agree with your calling, resistance loses authority. Do not be surprised if things begin to accelerate unexpectedly. Opportunities may appear suddenly, conversations may open doors overnight. What felt stuck for years may resolve quickly. That does not mean the process was skipped. It means the foundation was already laid. You were building invisibly while others were performing visibly. And now the results will begin to surface. Stay alert in this season, not anxious but aware. Discernment will matter more than excitement. Not every opportunity is assignment. Not every open door is yours to walk through. You will need to listen closely, trust deeply, and move intentionally. You are not chasing anymore. You are being positioned. And positioning requires patience, clarity, and courage. There are things you will have to release very soon. Mindsets, habits, even certain versions of yourself that kept you safe but now keep you small. Growth will ask for surrender. Expansion will require trust. You cannot carry old survival patterns into a season of abundance. You cannot keep preparing for loss when stability is being offered. You must allow yourself to receive without guilt, to rest without fear, to move forward without constantly looking back. And hear this clearly, because it matters more than you know. You are not behind because you rested. You are not weak because you felt tired. You are not unfaithful because you questioned. You are human, carrying something sacred. Even the strongest vessels need moments of repair. Even the most anointed paths include pauses. What matters is that you did not quit permanently. You did not betray your core. You did not become bitter. You stayed soft in a hard process. That softness is what will set you apart. That empathy, that depth, that ability to see people beyond their behavior, that wisdom that came from pain you never wanted but learned from anyway. You will reach people others cannot reach because you remember what it feels like to be unseen. You will speak in ways others cannot speak because you learned to listen in silence. You will lead with compassion because you were led through fire. Very soon, you will feel a stronger urge to step forward, to create, to speak, to build, to move. Do not ignore it, but do not rush it either. Mom. Entomb does not require chaos. Power does not require force. When the timing is right, movement will feel firm, not frantic, clear, not confusing, anchored, not desperate. You will know because peace will accompany it, even if fear tries to whisper at the edges. This message will not stay available forever because it is not meant to be replayed endlessly. It is meant to awaken, not entertain. Once it has done its work, it will quietly step back, and you will be left with a choice: to return to what is familiar or to step into what has been calling you for years. That choice will define the next chapter of your life more than any external circumstance ever could. You have already done the hard part. You endured, you stayed, you learned. Now comes the part that requires trust. Trusting yourself, trusting the process, trusting that what is unfolding does not need to be forced to be real. You are not waiting for permission anymore. You are waiting for alignment. And alignment is closer than you think. As you continue listening, you may feel emotions rise that you cannot fully explain. Let them come. This is not about hype. This is about resonance. Something inside you recognizes truth when it hears it. And right now, truth is reminding you that you are not invisible, you are not insignificant, and you are not late. You are standing at the edge of a transition that will require you to let go of who you were taught to be and fully accept who you were created to be. And as this awareness settles in, you may start noticing small shifts around you. Subtle changes in how you think, how you respond, how you see yourself in situations that once made you shrink. You may realize you are no longer reacting the same way, no longer chasing validation, no longer explaining your worth. That is not coincidence. That is growth becoming visible. That is alignment beginning to manifest. And this is only the beginning of what is unfolding. Because what has been building in the unseen is now ready to start revealing itself in ways that will require you to stay grounded, focused, and fully present as the next phase of your journey begins to take shape. You will notice that your tolerance for certain things is disappearing. Conversations that once felt normal now feel draining. Environments you once adapted to now feel restrictive. This is not you becoming difficult, this is you becoming honest with yourself. Your spirit is no longer willing to pretend, to shrink, to perform just to be accepted. And this shift may feel lonely at times because growth often creates distance before it creates connection. But understand this clearly: isolation in this season is not abandonment, it is alignment making space. There are layers of you that are being shed quietly. Old reactions, old coping mechanisms, old versions of strength that were built from survival rather than purpose. You are no longer fighting just to get through the day. You are learning how to live intentionally, how to move with clarity instead of urgency. And that transition can feel uncomfortable because urgency gave you identity for so long. Being needed, being busy, being strong for everyone else became familiar. Now you are being invited to rest without guilt, to choose without pressure, to move without proving anything. You may feel moments of hesitation, moments where you second guess whether stepping forward is the right move. That hesitation is not fear trying to stop you. It is wisdom asking you to move deliberately. You have learned the cost of impulsive decisions. You have learned the weight of commitments made too early. This time you are not rushing. You are listening. And listening requires stillness, patience, and courage to trust what you hear, even when it challenges your comfort. RT, pay attention to what no longer excites you. That is just as important as what does. Some dreams you once chased were placeholders, stepping stones meant to carry you until you were ready for something deeper. It is okay to outgrow goals. It is okay to release visions that no longer fit your values. Growth does not always mean adding more. Sometimes it means refining, narrowing, focusing. What lies ahead of you will not require you to be everywhere. It will require you to be present where it matters. There will be people who do not recognize you anymore. They will say you have changed, that you are distant, that you are different, and they will be right. But what they may not understand is that you did not change overnight. You evolved slowly, painfully, intentionally. They are only noticing now because you are no longer bending to meet their expectations. You are standing in alignment with your own. And alignment can feel threatening to those who benefited from your overextension. Do not argue with those perceptions. Do not try to convince anyone that you are still the same person. You are not. And that is not something to apologize for. You are allowed to grow beyond the version of you that was accessible to everyone. You are allowed to protect your energy, your time, your focus. You are allowed to choose depth over popularity, peace over approval, purpose over familiarity. In the coming days, your intuition will become sharper. Trust it. When something feels off, pause. When something feels aligned, move steadily. You have earned discernment through experience, through disappointment, through lessons you did not ask for but learned anyway. Your inner voice is no longer quiet. It has been strengthened by silence. It has been refined by waiting. It has been trained by observation. And now it is reliable. You may find yourself revisiting old ideas, old plans, old creative urges that once felt premature. This time they will feel different, less chaotic, more grounded, less emotional, more intentional. What once overwhelmed you will now feel manageable because you have grown into the capacity required to carry it. Timing changes everything. The same vision that felt impossible before can feel natural now, not because it shrank, but because you expanded. Do not underestimate the power of consistency in this season. Small, aligned actions will create momentum faster than dramatic moves ever could. You are not here to impress. You are here to build something that lasts. And lasting things are built quietly, brick by brick, decision by decision, habit by habit. There is no rush when the foundation is solid. There is no anxiety when direction is clear. You may also notice a deeper sensitivity developing in you. Not weakness, but awareness. You feel things more deeply, notice subtle shifts, pick up on unspoken emotions. This is not something to shut down. This is part of your design. You are meant to perceive beyond the surface, to understand without needing explanation, to respond with insight rather than reaction. But this sensitivity must be balanced with boundaries. Not everything you feel is yours to carry. Learn when to step back. Learn when to say no without explanation. Learn when to disengage without guilt. Your compassion is a strength, but it must be stewarded wisely. You cannot pour into every situation, every person, every cause. Discernment will show you where your presence is needed and where your absence is protection. You are not meant to be available to everything. You are meant to be effective where you are assigned. There will be moments when the old fears resurface, not because they have power, but because they want attention. Doubts you thought you overcame may knock again. Memories you healed from may. Try to speak. Do not panic when this happens. Healing is not linear. Growth does not erase the past. It changes your relationship with it. You are no longer controlled by what you remember. You are informed by it. And information is power when used wisely. You are learning how to move forward without dragging old pain behind you. How to acknowledge what happened without letting it define what happens next. That is maturity. That is strength. That is freedom. And freedom does not always feel loud or dramatic. Often it feels like calm, like space, like clarity, like choosing differently without having to announce it. Soon you will realize that the validation you once sought externally no longer has the same pull. Compliments feel nice, but they do not define you. Criticism may still sting, but it does not derail you. You are anchored now, not in ego, but in knowing. And knowing is quiet. It does not argue. It does not prove. It simply exists. This is why this season may feel strangely calm and intense at the same time. Calm because you are grounded. Intense because things are aligning quickly beneath the surface. You are standing in a space between preparation and manifestation, between becoming and being. And that space requires presence. Do not rush through it. There is wisdom available here that you will need later. Watch who supports you without needing credit. Watch who celebrates you without competing. Watch who respects your boundaries without resistance. These are not accidents. These are confirmations. Alignment reveals itself through ease, not force, through mutual respect, not obligation, through peace, not pressure. You may feel drawn to simplify your life, to declutter not just your space, but your commitments, your schedule, your mental load. Honor that instinct. Complexity drains clarity. Simplicity creates room for focus. You do not need to carry everything to prove your worth. Your worth is not measured by how much you can handle. It is reflected in how intentionally you choose what you handle. There is a deeper level of trust being built within you. Trust that you will recognize the right moment. Trust that you will not miss what is meant for you. Trust that even if something passes you by, it was not yours to carry. This trust is freeing you from anxiety about timing, comparison, and outcomes. You are learning to move with confidence rather than control. Comparison will try to return, especially when you see others seemingly ahead. But remember this, visibility is not victory, speed is not success, and noise is not impact. Your path was designed with intention. Detours were included. Delays were accounted for. Nothing has gone wrong. Even what felt like loss was shaping you for something more aligned. You are no longer chasing approval from people who cannot see you clearly. You are no longer explaining yourself to those who benefit from misunderstanding you. This is not bitterness. This is boundaries. You are choosing peace over performance. And peace will protect your clarity as things begin to move faster. Soon decisions will come that require courage rather than certainty. You may not have all the details, all the guarantees, all the reassurance you want, but you will have enough clarity to take the next step, enough confidence to trust your instincts, enough faith to move without needing everything to make sense first. Growth rarely waits for perfect conditions. As you step forward, remain humble, not small, but grounded. Humility keeps you teachable. It keeps you aware. It keeps you connected to your source rather than your success. What is ahead will elevate you in ways that require you to stay anchored internally. External growth without internal stability creates collapse. You have been. and prepared to sustain what is coming. You may feel moments of excitement mixed with fear. That is natural. Fear does not always mean danger. Sometimes it means importance. Sometimes it means you are stepping beyond what is familiar. Do not interpret fear as a sign to stop. Interpret it as a signal to move with intention. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward with clarity despite it. You are entering a phase where your voice matters more than you realize. Whether spoken, written, or lived through example, what you carry has weight. People will learn from you without you realizing it. Your consistency will speak louder than your words. Your integrity will open doors you never knocked on. This is influence earned through authenticity, not strategy. Be mindful of who you share your vision with. Not everyone needs to know your next move. Some people only have access to criticize what they cannot contribute to. Protect your plans until they are rooted. Growth thrives in privacy before it flourishes in visibility. You have learned this lesson already. Apply it now. As momentum builds, you may feel tempted to rush ahead mentally, to live in the future rather than the present. Ground yourself. Today still matters. The habits you form now will shape how you handle what comes next. Excellence in small things prepares you for responsibility in larger ones. Do not overlook the present while anticipating the future. There is a quiet joy available to you in this season. Not excitement, not adrenaline, but contentment. The kind that comes from alignment. The kind that does not depend on outcomes. Allow yourself to feel it without guilt. You have spent enough time in survival mode. You are allowed to experience stability. You are allowed to enjoy the journey, not just endure it. You are becoming someone who moves with intention, speaks with clarity, listens with depth, and chooses with wisdom. This did not happen overnight. It is the result of everything you walked through. Every disappointment, every delay, every quiet season contributed to this version of you. Nothing was wasted. As you continue forward, remain open. Open to learning, open to correction, open to growth. Openness keeps you adaptable. It keeps you from becoming rigid or reactive. It keeps your heart soft and your mind clear. You are not meant to arrive and stop. You are meant to evolve continually. There will be moments when you feel like you are standing alone again. Remember this, alone does not mean unsupported. Some assignments require solitude. Some clarity only comes when noise is removed. Trust the process even when it feels quiet, especially when it feels quiet. This message is not here to rush you or pressure you. It is here to remind you of what you already know deep down. You are ready for what is next, not because you are perfect, but because you are prepared. And preparation often looks like endurance before it looks like reward. Stay present, stay grounded, stay aware. Something is unfolding, not all at once, but deliberately. And as you remain attentive, aligned, and intentional, you will recognize the moment when the next step becomes clear, not through force or urgency, but through a calm, steady knowing that signals it is time to move. And as you move through this space of becoming, you may start to notice how differently you carry yourself without even trying. Your posture shifts, your words slow down, your reactions soften. You are no longer rushing to fill silence or explain your intentions. There is a steadiness about you now, a grounded presence that wasn't there before. This is not something you learned from a book or a mentor. It was forged through experience, through restraint, through learning when not to act, when not to fight, when not to prove. You're embodying wisdom rather than talking about it. You may find that certain struggles no longer have the same grip on you. Things that once triggered strong emotional reactions now pass through you more lightly. Not because you stopped caring, but because you learned discernment. You learned what deserves your energy and what doesn't. You learned that peace is not passive, it is chosen. And that choice becomes easier when you trust yourself to handle whatever comes next. There is also a deeper honesty emerging within you. You are no longer negotiating with yourself about what feels right and what feels wrong. You are less willing to compromise your values for comfort, less willing to stay silent when something feels misaligned, less willing to betray your intuition for approval. This honesty may cost you access to certain spaces, certain people, certain opportunities that are built on compromise. But what it gives you in return is integrity, and integrity attracts what is sustainable. You may feel moments of grief for versions of your life that will never exist. Dreams that belong to an earlier chapter, relationships that could not evolve with you, identities you outgrew but once depended on. Allow that grief to move through you without judgment. Letting go does not mean those things were wrong. It means they serve their purpose. Gratitude and release can coexist. As your awareness expands, you may notice patterns more clearly, not just in others, but in yourself. Patterns of overgiving, patterns of silence, patterns of self-doubt masked as humility. Seeing these patterns is not meant to shame you. It is meant to free you. Awareness is the first step to choice, and choice is where power lives. You are no longer operating on autopilot. You are awake. With this awakening comes responsibility. Responsibility to act in alignment with what you know. Responsibility to protect what matters. Responsibility to speak when silence would cost you integrity. Responsibility to rest when pushing would cause damage. This responsibility may feel heavy at times, but it is also empowering. You are no longer waiting to be rescued from your life. You are participating in it consciously. You may begin to sense that your timing is improving. You say the right thing at the right moment more often. You walk away before situations escalate. You recognize red flags earlier. This is discernment sharpening through practice. It is the result of paying attention rather than reacting. And as this discernment grows, so does your confidence in yourself. Confidence now feels different. It is quieter, less performative. It does not need applause to survive. It is rooted in trust rather than validation. You trust yourself to adapt. You trust yourself to learn. You trust yourself to recover, even if something doesn't go as planned. This trust makes you resilient, not rigid. You may feel drawn to redefine success on your own terms, not by what impresses others, but by what sustains you. Peace, alignment, impact, freedom. These begin to matter more than titles, speed, or recognition. You are no longer willing to sacrifice your well-being for symbols of achievement. You are building a life that supports who you are becoming, not just what you can produce. As you step into this clarity, you might notice moments where old narratives try to resurface. Thoughts like, who do you think you are? Or what if this doesn't work? Or you've tried before. These thoughts are familiar because they once kept you safe. They prevented disappointment by lowering expectations. Thank them for their service, then move forward anyway. You are not the same person who formed those beliefs. You have new evidence now. There is a growing alignment between your inner world and your outer actions. What you say matches how you live. What you value matches what you choose. This alignment creates a sense of wholeness that cannot be faked. People feel it around you. They may not know how to describe it, but they sense authenticity, and authenticity is disarming. It invites trust, but it also exposes dishonesty. That is why not everyone will be comfortable around you as you are now. Do not shrink to make others comfortable. Comfort that requires your silence or self-betrayal is not worth preserving. At the same time, remain compassionate. Not everyone is ready to grow at the same pace. Not everyone is meant to come with you. Allow people to be where they are without trying to drag them forward or judge them for staying behind. Your journey is yours to walk. You may feel moments of anticipation, as if something is approaching but hasn't arrived yet. This is not anxiety. This is awareness of transition. Transitions rarely announce themselves clearly. They are felt before they are seen. Trust that what is forming will reveal itself when you are ready to meet it, not when you demand certainty. In this space, patience becomes a form of discipline. Waiting without becoming passive, preparing without forcing, staying engaged without becoming restless. This balance is subtle but powerful. It allows you to remain open while staying grounded. It keeps you from rushing into things that look good but lack depth. You may also notice that your definition of strength is changing. Strength now looks like honesty, vulnerability, restraint, and consistency. It looks like choosing long-term alignment over short-term relief. It looks like staying when it would be easier to escape, and leaving when staying would compromise your integrity. This kind of strength is not always recognized immediately, but it is deeply respected over time. There is a deeper compassion growing within you, not just for others, but for yourself. You are learning to speak to yourself differently, to offer yourself grace instead of criticism, to acknowledge effort instead of focusing only on outcomes. This self-compassion does not make you complacent. It makes you sustainable. You can grow faster when you are not constantly fighting yourself. As your internal dialogue softens, your external life begins to reflect that shift. You attract calmer conversations, clearer opportunities, healthier boundaries. This is not magic, it is resonance. You are aligning internally, and alignment reorganizes what surrounds you. You may feel called to simplify your goals, to focus on fewer things with more intention. This focus will amplify your impact. Scattered energy dilutes effectiveness. Concentrated energy creates momentum. Trust that saying no to good things makes space for the right things. You may also experience moments of solitude that feel different than before, not lonely, but spacious. These moments offer clarity, creativity, and insight. Do not rush to fill them. Some of your most important realizations will come in quiet moments when you are not trying to achieve anything. Presence itself becomes productive. Your relationship with uncertainty is evolving. You are less threatened by not knowing everything. You are more comfortable navigating ambiguity. This flexibility will serve you well as things begin to shift more rapidly. You do not need all the answers to take the next step. You only need enough clarity to move forward with integrity. There is an increasing sense of responsibility to live authentically, not just for yourself, but for those who observe you. You may not always see it, but your choices influence others. Your courage gives permission. Your honesty creates safety. Your consistency builds TR. This influence is not something you sought, but it is something you carry. Be mindful of how you use your words in this season. Words shape reality. Speak with intention. Speak with honesty. Speak with restraint. Not everything needs to be said immediately. Not every truth needs to be shared with everyone. Wisdom knows when to speak and when to remain silent. You may feel moments of excitement about the future, followed by moments of stillness. Both are necessary. Excitement fuels vision. Stillness grounds execution. Do not confuse stillness with stagnation. Some of the most important shifts happen internally before they ever become visible externally. Your capacity to hold complexity is increasing. You can acknowledge contradictions without becoming confused. You can hold hope and realism at the same time. You can pursue growth while honoring rest. This capacity allows you to navigate challenges with nuance rather than extremes. It keeps you balanced. You may begin to recognize that fulfillment is not a destination you arrive at, but a way you move through your life. Fulfillment grows when your actions align with your values, when your energy is invested intentionally, when your relationships are rooted in mutual respect. This understanding frees you from constantly chasing the next milestone. As you continue, you will notice how much you have already become without fully realizing it. The person you once wished you could be in difficult seasons is now who you are, stronger, clearer, more grounded, not perfect, but present. And presence is powerful. There may still be challenges ahead. Growth does not eliminate difficulty. It changes how you meet it. You will face obstacles with more clarity, more patience, more trust in your ability to respond rather than react. This confidence does not come from certainty about outcomes. It comes from confidence in your capacity. You are learning to move from intention rather than impulse, from alignment rather than urgency, from truth rather than fear. Each choice reinforces this new way of being. Each step builds momentum quietly, steadily. As this phase continues to unfold, remain attentive to what feels aligned. Alignment feels like calm clarity, not pressure. It feels like direction without force. It feels like movement without chaos. When something is truly meant for you, it will require effort, but it will not require self-betrayal. You are not becoming someone else. You are becoming more fully yourself. Layers of expectation, fear, and conditioning are falling away. What remains is simpler, truer, and more resilient. This process is ongoing. There is no finish line, only deeper alignment. Stay with yourself through this. Stay curious, stay grounded, stay open. What is unfolding does not need to be rushed or announced. It is enough to notice it, honor it, and continue moving forward with intention as clarity deepens and the path ahead begins to reveal itself more distinctly with each deliberate step you take. Chosen one. As this moment settles into you, do not rush to label it or explain it away. Let it rest where it landed. This was not meant to excite you for a moment and fade. It was meant to anchor you, to steady you, to remind you of what you already carry. You are not standing at the end of something, but at the point where awareness becomes action. Everything you've endured, everything you've questioned, everything you've waded through has shaped your capacity. Thank you for what comes next. You no longer need signs to prove you're chosen. Your endurance already did that. Move forward without noise, without pressure, without fear of missing out. Walk with intention, with clarity, with trust in the quiet strength that has been built inside you. You don't need to become ready. You are ready. And from this point on, let your life speak for itself, because the alignment you are stepping into will make explanations unnecessary and confirmation inevitable.